Yes.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
There we go. How are you guys doing today?
I am good. How are you?
Good.
I'm pretty good, pretty good.
All
That's
right. So
good.
I'll
Lauren
start.
should be joining anytime soon.
Okay,
Okay, I'll
cool,
start
cool.
off then by just explaining who I am. So my name is Amina Usman. However, I go by the name of Mina. Due to the fact that I have a radio talk show which is called Mina Ella Vibes TV, we touch on political topics, entertainment, honestly everything. Nobody's safe. so Also, I am a recent graduate, well, almost recent graduate in May, from Brooklyn
Congratulations.
College. I'm a multimedia journalist. Thank you so much. I'm proud to say I'll be virtually graduating through Zoom. And that's it. I mean, Marquis, would you like to give us a little intro before Lauren comes on?
Yes, nice to meet you, Amina. My name is Marquis Allen Hughes. I am a proud graduate of Hampton University. I graduated in May, and received my BA in journalism. Um,
Here you go.
thank you. And I'm a photographer.
That's good to hear.
What's
That's good
up?
to hear.
I'm
Should we
definitely
get
gonna I'm gonna
started?
go
I'm sorry.
I was gonna let
What'd
you
you
guys
say?
know I'm gonna go ahead and leave the session for you guys to get to know each other and stuff. Lauren should be joining anytime soon.
Sounds
No
good.
problem.
Thank you, man.
So I guess I'll just start off with an icebreaker. I don't want to really get into the questions without her.
Right, right.
But so I'd like to ask, how are you doing self-care? How are you taking care of yourself during this pandemic?
Absolutely. So on my Instagram, I'm a curl enthusiast. My hair is
Mhm.
currently in a hat right now, but you can't really see the curls. But I definitely love showing off my natural curls and also taking care of my skin. Nobody wants anyone
Mhm.
with bad skin, so why not? When you look good, you feel good, and when you feel good, you look
Amen. Amen.
good.
Okay, I'd like to answer that question for myself too. Basically, I feel like right now my self-care is Ramadan because I'm Muslim. So, fasting and getting time with the family,
Mhm.
cooking for the family, things like that,
Yeah,
it really helps in getting to know yourself better,
absolutely,
getting to know environments you like within the house, things like that. So I definitely feel you when you say take care of the skin. Sometimes I
absolutely.
just do a little headliner just to throw a little razzle dazzle in my day. Get ready.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I feel like everyone,
Yeah.
this pandemic is such a negative topic. Let's just spin it to something positive. Like what's your
Mm,
favorite thing that you've done, or your most enjoyable thing that you've done while being on quarantine?
that's a good question. The interviewer asked me, the interviewer asked me, okay. I'd say probably, okay, this might sound bad, but nonstop calling from my
No, no
friends. I
judgment
feel like
here.
we never have time to actually sit down and discuss things that go on with our lives, whether
Mm,
it be religious talks or just in general life talks that we need to hear from each other.
mhm.
I think that was a really pivotal point for me during this pandemic. Um, yeah, but what about you?
Um, Honestly, I really enjoyed being still. I'm just
Mm,
always on the go, always doing something. I'm at work Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends I work for myself as well. Um, and just the feeling of being still is important. It's really important just to kind of just pause on everything and just kind of reflect on what you've done and what you've gone through. Hey, Lauren,
Hey.
how's it
I
going?
agree. Yeah, also agree there's a power in being still, and people don't really notice that, especially if you live in New York or like Atlanta, things that are very uh,
Right.
busy. Lauren, could you explain who you are and kind of tell us what you've been doing as self care this pandemic, things like that?
Yeah, for sure. Hey guys, my name is Lauren and I am in Atlanta. But I work in television production, but ever since COVID-19 has come and shut all of us down, I've been at home, not working. When the pandemic first started and during like my first week, I was so pressed to like be productive and work on my own projects and things like that. But then I realized that I need to slow down because this isn't normal. People are
Right.
dying. Families are losing loved ones. People are getting sick. And so I really had to slow down and allow myself to really accept what's going on. And then from there, I just kind of started taking everything day by day. So some days I do absolutely nothing. Other days I might write. Other days I might watch movies or plan for future projects of my own and work on like my business and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just taking everything day by day, really not trying to pressure myself into doing anything or pressure myself into being productive because this isn't a normal time, you know?
With that being said, I probably take the time out to say whoever has lost anyone during this difficult time, you know, I pray for your healing.
Yeah.
That said, let's get into this interview.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first question I'd have is, we all know how important it is to create content that viewers will love, but it's just as important to stay true to your craft and your community. You know who you are. So with that being said, how do you both get over the fear of possibly creating or producing media not everyone will like, or how do you make sure you're putting trust into your own vision and not losing yourself in the process?
I guess
you can start if you want.
I think for me, I had to get out of the habit of thinking that I had to be a people pleaser. And I had to get out of the habit of thinking that my projects had to be in favor of like everybody who watched it. Even the films that you see that win, you know, Academy Awards and Oscars, like not everybody agrees with those decisions. Not everybody agrees that those are the best motion pictures. So you truly just have to create from your own inspiration and believe that there is somebody who will accept your story, will accept your content for what it is, and hope that there's at least one person. For me, if I'm at least helping or inspiring one person, then I've done my job. I try not to get caught up in getting accolades, or try not to get caught up in just creating for the sole purpose of wanting everybody's agreeing with you, loving your work, the problem itself, because like you even have a true standpoint if you're trying to be a people pleaser for everybody. You know, there's going to be somebody that disagrees with what you do. So I think that it's just important to focus on yourself. Whatever it is you're trying to push, whatever message you're trying to push through your work, just focus on that.
Honestly, yeah. All of that. I would add, I mean, the reality of it is that not everyone is going to like your work, but that's also the beauty in it as well. That's what makes your work you, and that's what makes your work personalized. So not everyone is going to like your work or rock with your work, and that's okay. It's okay, because someone may like this, someone may like this. That's fine. You may get a person that'll like both. You just honestly never know. But the key thing to this is really just being confident in your work. If you believe in your work, then I want someone to see my piece and say, that's Marquis's piece, or that's Marquis's work, or Marquis has done that. I kind of want my pieces to kind of leave marks, not leave, heavy marks, but, just positive marks, something that you can take away from it, and something that anything I try to do, I try to leave with positive and positivity. So, yeah.
Yeah, all of that for me as well. I think also I try to just stay grounded and focused on, like, for me, I'm really big on like social justice and community affairs and things like that. So for me, a lot of my storytelling has to do with the humanity of people. Like, I really, really love and adore the humanity of Black people. So I think that's where all of my focus is when I'm not focused on film. Like, I'm watching documentaries, or I'm reading, or I'm watching YouTube videos that just have to do with the things that I'm interested in. And then from there, it just kind of transfers over into my creative working time or working space. So I think you just have to find what you're passionate about. And you can be passionate about more than one thing. Along with film, I love dance. And then along with dance, I love social justice and criminal reform and things like that. So I think you just have to find what you're passionate about. And then once you're able to find that, then it will be easier to stay on track and stay on focus when it comes to actually putting out content.
Yes, I definitely
agree with that.
Yeah, I think it also ties into what we were saying before, more so being passionate in your originality and staying still in that. And said Marquis being confident in it too. So the question I'd have is, in your Rolodex, it states that you both have taken on amazing internships with people of high caliber. Therefore, I'd like to ask, how important is it to not only be teachable, but also how to transition from an intern lifestyle to actually pursuing real salary-based jobs? So it's like a 2-in-1 question.
Yeah, that is a
that's a tough one.
You can start. I guess, okay. I could start with, for me, I always tell myself to like, I try to have the mindset of to always be a student. So like, even when I'm in my internship or my program or whatever it is that I'm doing, of course, you're playing the role of a student. But even when you transfer over workspaces, I think it's so important to have the mindset of I'm still here to learn, and make sure that your employer knows that you're here because you want to be here and you're interested in whatever it is the job is offering. So I think for one, showing your interest and dedication to still learning while you're on the job is very important. But then also just well, relationships obviously, but the skills that you learn within your internship, really bring that to the forefront, like really let that shine. And of course there will be things that you don't know, but the things that you do know, let those, you know, have the stage, let those have the platform, and then be honest about the things that you don't know. So I think it's just about being transparent and being a student and being humble enough to know that you don't know everything, but you are willing to, you know, continue to learn. Mm-hmm.
I would add on that it's okay not to know everything too as well. Like it is okay to ask, but I would say know when to ask. Know when to do your homework, but then also know when to ask. So, and that also ties into reading the room and knowing when to insert yourself and when to sometimes remain quiet. That's a tough one. I'm still, you know, working on that now, and I don't think anyone has truly can say that they've mastered that. But that's something that I can always work on, or anyone can always work on. One thing though that one of my mentors did mention, and it really did stick with me, is that she walks into a room or set or wherever, a shoot, and she is already expecting that she knows that she is not the smartest person in the room. She's aware that she's an executive, and she's aware that she's not the smartest one in the room. And she allows that space of creativity. She allows that space of openness and conversation and ideas, and allowing others to be taught. Being teachable is very important. Nobody wants a person that knows it all and that has all the answers. And that's just in any industry. No one kind of likes that that kind of individual. If you know the answer, honestly, it's okay to sometimes be like, do you mind just showing me how? It's okay to learn a different way. Just because you know your way doesn't mean that your way is always the right way or your way is the only way. So that kind of thing. So I would say within this industry, definitely be open-minded to so many things, but also definitely be teachable. There's always room to grow. There's always room to learn. And that's really how you will be successful within this industry, by being teachable.
And even going off of that, like when it comes to like working on sets or working in a production office, you have to be able to have the mindset of I don't know how to do this, but I can ask for help. And then who do I go to? Because when you're working on sets, everybody has their own agenda. Like everybody has their task of what they need to do. The DP and the camera op are focused on getting the shot. The director is focused on what's on the, you know, what's coming on camera. The production coordinator is focused on things in the office. And so if you don't know anything and you have a question that's related to, I don't know, set, or like where something should go, or maybe you see something that doesn't belong on set, you should be able to know who to go for. Like you don't go and ask the gaffers, you know, you need to go talk to the set PA. You know, I think you just need to, like you said, be able to identify who to go to, who should I ask, who shouldn't I ask, and then when you do know something, take initiative, because nobody likes somebody who just kind of sits around and waits to be told what to do, because then you slow the whole production down. You know, even being a PA, if you think your job is this minute, there could be somebody that's waiting on, I don't know, a roll of gaffer tape, you know, but if you're slow on getting that gaffer tape, then you slow down what they have to do, which affects the production on a larger scale.
Right.
So, you know, just like he said, you have to be able to take initiative, observe the room, know who to talk to, but just be smart, you know, when you're in these environments, because everybody has their own stuff to do, and you don't want to be the person that slows everything down.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like that's the power in an internship, more so just being in that learning environment and being in the moment and taking what you've learned further into your life, you know?
Yeah.
So the next question I'd have is, I know you both are content creators, and Lauren, I know you have BWBM. So I want to ask, how do you know when your story's finished, when to walk away or just close that chapter and kind of start a new one?
Do you mean like, let's say I'm writing a script and I say, okay, the story is done. Like, this is where I would stop it.
In
Is
your
that what you
case,
mean?
yes.
That's a really good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing very good. Wow. I think like when a project is done, I think it's just a feeling. Like you have to be at peace with where it is and know that, okay, whatever message I was trying to send through this piece of work, whether it's a video for Instagram TV or a short film for YouTube or Vimeo, whatever message you're trying to send through that piece of content, you should be able to be at peace with knowing that you did what you were supposed to do. And you'll know, as a creator, you'll know if it's what you want to be. I mean, if the content is what you want it to be. I think it's just a feeling that nobody else will be able to tell you is complete or not. I know we've all seen films and we're like, wait, that's how it ended? I wanted more. Or I feel like something was left out. Like, yes, as a viewer, you can have that opinion, but to whoever wrote or directed or came up with the story for that film, they probably felt like that's where it needed to end. And maybe their response or maybe their intention was to get you as a viewer to want more. Maybe that was their intention for the film. So, I mean, I think it's just
yeah. Marquis, do you want to answer that in relation to photography or anything else you have on the table?
Yeah, I agree. I would honestly say you just know as a creator when internally you know when it's done, and you have those self layers or those the word's not coming to me right now, but this. You have those self boundaries for yourself that you set and that you know what sounds good or what looks good and what does not. And if you're passionate about your work, you take your work seriously. And that's really what it is. I pulled all-nighters just editing photos on my work and just playing around with it. And honestly, they have not touched the internet yet. And that's just because I personally have it really just honestly takes time. And I still, like, for instance, I took some photos at Curl Fest last year, but I did not post all of them. And I'm going through them and I'm just like, how come I didn't post all these? Like, so now it's like, I'm just like, you know what, it's okay to walk away from a project as well and then come back to it and be like, okay, I can add this, or okay, maybe I'll make this little tweak or something like that. So is a project ever completely done? It's done when you say it's done. But like Lauren said, you'll know when your project's done.
I'm loving this. Okay, so the next question that I have is, Marquis, I know you do a lot of features, like, with the likes of Good Morning America, etc. So how are you how are you able to ensure you're staying true to your journalistic code of ethics, like taking, within those features, or, in an era where we kind of don't have a lot of checking of facts? How do you?
We don't have a lot of. I'm sorry, what?
The checking of facts. We just produce what we produce. How do you stay in that realm of making sure what you're producing is actually accurate?
Well, I can't talk too much on just because of just ABC policy, but I just know that for me personally, when I produce content outside of work, I just know that I want to be factual, but also I want to, of course, leave a mark within myself. I want someone to be like, you know what, Marquis produced this piece, and this is dope. This is cool. Like, I want all my pieces to be feel-good pieces and also, be inspirational, informative, that kind of way. So.
Yeah. Can I just add one thing? I think you're a photographer. Yeah, I think photography is really dope, especially when it comes to like thought pieces or pieces that aren't for professional purposes, because like I love storytelling, obviously. And I think telling stories through photos is probably a little bit more difficult than telling stories through film, because through film you have dialogue and you have settings and you have characters, but through photos you literally just have what's captured on your camera for that one shot or those multiple shots. So I think that's really dope that you actually take the time and the initiative to put that type of energy and thought through your work. That's really dope.
Thank you. I grew up in photography a little bit. My mom has kind of like played a little background of that. Every year I kind of had like a photo shoot growing up. And I actually just received back all my photos from when I was about like 7 years old. And then taking a photo every single year and now comprising it all together. So just kind of just seeing that story. And that was a 21, that was about like a 15 to 18 year story. And I just got that this past weekend. And that was just amazing to review. So I kind of want to have that type of impact and share another story. It doesn't even have to be mine or anything like that. So I think that's really dope within photography, within media as well, within the arts. It's all important and they all tie in somehow. Videography, it's just motion pictures. Like photography, there's still pictures, still images. Like so everything ties into everything, but honestly, that's just what makes this industry great. So
also like to touch onto what you just said about your pictures. I feel like sometimes we forget how much the structure of our household plays into who we become and what we do. So I just feel like that was really amazing. The next question I'd have is, so we all know you guys have great connections, Lauren. You know, you have Ween. And through that experience, I'd like you guys to capitalize on the importance of managing your resources or businesses while also continuously creating ideas and skills as storytellers.
Yeah, thankfully, I had the opportunity of going through programs like Ween, the Women in Entertainment Empowerment Network, and then also the Nate Parker Foundation. I attended that last year, and that's a film program. But through both of those programs, like I was telling Deandra when I went on live with you guys last week, one of the founders of Ween actually gave me my first job in television. So just maintaining that relationship really benefited me. And I think that what people have to understand is that, yes, you go to these programs to learn, but you also definitely, like I heard one of the panelists earlier talking about how important it is to just create genuine relationships with people. And that will take you further than you actually trying to figure out what they can do for you, because nobody likes to be used. But if you actually have a relationship with people that you genuinely have a connection with, and you don't have to force that connection, then it will help you in the long run. So for me, out of the 4 founders of Ween, I connected with 2 of them the closest, and that was just off of their personality, and it ended up opening doors for me later down the road. And then like through the Nate Parker Foundation, Nate Parker, for one, is just an incredible human being, and he's very, very generous, and he naturally has a giving spirit. And so when I had the opportunity to connect with him on a more personal level and really hone in and have him as a mentor, that worked in my favor, because when it got time for me to produce a film, he reviewed my film before I put it out, and he kind of helped me in guidance with producing my first film. So relationships is everything. I will preach on relationships like
absolutely
until I am in my grave. Authenticity and just being really, really transparent.
Yes.
The Nate Parker Foundation. I know a couple of people in that foundation. Do you know Brooklyn Baker?
Yes, that's my sister.
See, crazy how small this world is. She
connections, y'all.
To the same school, Hampton University.
Are you in Hampton?
Yeah, any shout out to any Hamptonians in this chat.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Do you know Maya Harris or Maya Giovanni?
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah. Well,
I'm trying to see who Bronson Christian.
Yeah. Yes.
That's a little. At Hampton, we have like mentee. That's one of my mentees, actually.
That is crazy. Yeah, we definitely have to connect, because I also when you run into people who know the same people as you, like just birds of a feather.
Yes.
Absolutely.
If my people are your people, then we gotta be people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Brooklyn and I, we worked on set together on a music video on campus, and honestly, I love that experience. That was my first music video experience. And just honestly working under her, I was honestly excited to see her direct and kind of learn as well. So it's really dope. It's really dope. Like just to kind of take back and just be like, wow, these are people that I went to school with, but then also like these are people that I can look up to as well and possibly work with as well. But I definitely 100% agree with everything that you said in terms of maintaining and creating those relationships. Those are very important. And you don't want to kind of just go up to anyone just being like, hey, I want this, or hey, I want that. At the end of the day, if you want something, bring something to the table as well. That other person probably wants to eat too. So
right.
it's just something like that. So this world isn't just always, just getting.
Yeah.
So you just have to work for what you want, but also bring something to the table as well.
Love
Yeah.
it.
I was gonna ask how do you network, but literally I just gave an extreme example of that. So with that being said, I would like you guys to more so state your handles so we can all follow you. And then if we have any questions in the chat, please put them down before we move on to our next session. Other than that, please give us your Instagram handles.
Yeah, my Instagram name is lauren.ashli, LEREN.ASHLI. And then all of my affiliated pages are in my bio, so I'm not gonna list all of them. I have 3 pages in there. And then my Twitter is Lauren E. Ashli, ASHLI.
Okay.
And mine is on Instagram. It is at IAM.MARQUIS. That's IAM.Marquis. And then my photography page, if you guys ever want to book me for any shoots, if you're in New York or whatever, it is M Hughes Studio. So that's the first letter of my first name, then my last name Studio. So that's MHUGHES STUDIOS.
Yes.
This was amazing.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. This was honestly great.
It was.
It was great.
No, we appreciated your session so much, and we're going to transition into the next one. Thank you, Amina, Lauren, and Marquis. If you guys want to follow them, like they said, follow them on their social handles, and hopefully you guys will stay for the networking hour, because I think some people may want to connect with you guys in the chat if you guys do have time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
We put my Instagram out there too.
Put it out there.
My Instagram is MINAELEVIBESS. Make sure you follow us. See y'all later.